What's good? Fin Nation, what's good? It's your boy Reason. Obviously, we're here back for another one. Personally, I wish it was under better circumstances, but when this was announced today, I decided, you know what? I gotta go live. I gotta get some stuff off my chest. We gotta we gotta I don't know. We gotta leave some things out. Now, first and foremost, listen. We got people out here trying to take victory laps on Tua being announced that he has fractured ribs. Okay. To you people, are you actually Dolphin fans? Because where I'm going with this is I'm starting to see that people either don't know football or they have their own personal agendas at play right now. And, me and EM did a show back on June 3rd. We asked, are the Miami Dolphins maximizing their financial and their draft capital resources? 3 months ago. Hold on. Yeah, 3 months ago, almost 4. We did that. We got ahead of the curve. We took so much slack and flack from people for questioning Greer and Flo. I said this on Monday in my preview show, and for some reason, it's getting a pass. You saw the tweet, Barry Jackson. I put it up here for each and every one of you to see. Barry Jackson reported that he was seeing everyone giving Chris Greer flack. And what did he say? He said, you need to be giving Brian Flores just as much grief because Brian Flores has a strong hand in personnel decisions. He even said Chris Greer defers to Brian Flores a lot. So that's where he said, if you're going to give Greer, if you're going to give one credit, you got to give both credit. Just like if you're going to give one grief, you got to give both grief for where we're at right now. Listen, now you got these people trying to act like the O-line wasn't a problem. I can already tell, first of all, you got people out here who don't know prospects, who don't know how to evaluate talent, but trying to tell everyone that they do and trying to give off the perception they know what they're looking at when they don't. They do not. All right? You go back to 2019 draft night TD Fins talk. When we were sitting there before our pick at 18th, what did I say? I said, please, not Austin Jackson. Please, God. Everyone up there on that panel, other than maybe Ball Game, didn't do any research on this kid and didn't know anything about what we were getting with this kid. They had no idea. All right? Now, fast forward. I got 5,200 subscribers now officially. Shout out to each and every one of you. That's not the point. The point is, since I was at 600, 700, 800, ask EM, I've been preaching for over a year that this O-line is not good enough. This O-line is not sufficient enough. You want to go back to TD Fins talk? Go all the way back. Go October, November, December 2019. I was saying, I don't care if they take Tua Tagovailoa. I don't care if they take Joe Burrow. I don't care if they take Justin Herbert. I don't care if they take Jordan Love, who, if you know me and you've been watching me for a while, I was high on Jordan Love. I said, build a wall. So if said quarterback you draft doesn't work out, you can sign or draft a new guy, plop him right behind that offensive line, go to work. See, I warned everyone about this. That's what I'm saying. This is not, and now you got people trying to say, oh, the O-line is an excuse. How's it an excuse when I've been pointing out all the deficiencies this O-line has since before the season even started, since the end of last year? I was the only one in the YouTube community for the Miami Dolphins focusing continuously on the offensive line. Everyone else was putting the weight of the season on Tua Tagovailoa's shoulders. Now you have an offensive line that got him hurt. I mean, you want to know something? Joe Burrow was pressured on 11 of his dropbacks on Sunday. Jacoby Brissett, not even Tua Tagovailoa, Jacoby Brissett was pressured on 28. I've been telling people for months upon months upon months, and I'm going to open it up to you guys for a bit after I'm done my rant here. So give me some. So give me about 20 minutes, and I'll open it up to you guys for a little bit. Because I wasn't even expecting to do this show, like I said yesterday, unless some breaking news. Well, let's consider this breaking news. I've been warning you guys for months. Why was Reason the one on Twitter, on YouTube, wherever you wanted to fucking go? Why was I the one leading the Penei Sewell bandwagon? Why was I the one making the videos about top free agents we should target with Corey Linsley at the top of it and Taylor Moton in the top 3 if he doesn't re-sign with the Carolina Panthers? Because you got so many people focused on their agenda or whatever they got with this quarterback that they're not looking at everything around them and they see everything around them as an excuse. Let me ask you this. Ryan Tannehill, 7 years. The 1 year we looked like we could make a run in the playoffs, what did Ryan Tannehill have? The unicorn line and Jay Ajayi. Not every quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. Not every quarterback is Lamar Jackson. Not every quarterback is Kyler Murray. Those are 3 guys in a league with 32 teams. But guess what? Those guys still need certain things. Last I checked, Mahomes needed an offensive line, and he went to the Super Bowl, and they totally rebuilt the offensive line. Now, either that's great coaching and good hindsight, or lucky they did it. What do you think it is? It's coaching and hindsight. I brought up the article yesterday. This just show everyone and put it into perspective where we are right now as a coaching staff. Lemuel Jean-Pierre. I don't know why you would say what you said yesterday, but you told on yourself, sir. When you said, you brought him up out of nowhere. He wasn't even mentioned. And you brought up Tristan Wirfs. You said, I thought Tristan Wirfs would be an all-pro guard, but now I see he can play tackle too. Are you serious? You know what that tells me? If we would have drafted that blue chip talent, Lemuel Jean-Pierre would have kicked him in the guard. That would have been initially where they gave him the run at guard. I've been saying it for months. You have a rookie offensive line coach coaching a bunch of sophomore guys, Jesse Davis, and now a rookie in Eichenberg. You have no veteran presence. He's learning his job while these guys are trying to learn their position. This all I'm telling you right now, check me on this. This all falls on the feet of Brian Flores right now. And this is why it falls on the feet of Brian Flores. Barry Jackson told each and every one of you he has a big say in personnel, and Chris Greer even defers to Brian Flores on personnel decisions. Okay? So he got a big say. 1. 2. Offensive coordinators. If you include right now, we've been through 5 in 3 years, and it looks like he's going to be looking for a 6th in the offseason, and we're only 2 games in. 3. The offensive line coach. We fired what's-his-face, that veteran. He was a veteran line coach in year 1. He was actually a reputable guy. He told Brian Flores Michael Deere wasn't ready. He got fired. They brought in another one. Then they fired that guy, brought in Steve Marshall last year. Then Steve Marshall left when Gailey left, and now we're on a rookie offensive line coach. There's no continuity across the board. How do you expect players to develop, players to grow without continuity when these are 21, 22, 23-year-old kids? Where the game's faster, windows close faster. Everything is elevated in times 10 when you go from even the SEC to the NFL. Coaching needs to come in. This is why I said we showed the film yesterday. Tua, he got hit with that corner blitz. He saw the safety. ID'd the mic. ID'd the blitzer. No one picked him up. No one picked him up. What does this kid got to do? ID him and then go block for him and then make the pass? He's literally doing things right before your eyes that indicate where the issue is. And then even deeper, look at Brissett. Brissett was running for his life out there. Brissett wasn't IDing blitzers, and he's been in the league for 6 years, but that doesn't fit y'all narrative, so y'all don't want to talk about that, right? You don't want to talk about that. He's been in the league for 6 years, but a starter for 2 of them, but y'all don't want to talk about that because that don't fit narratives, so we'll push that to the side, correct? Clowns. Absolute clowns. You guys telling yourself, is Tua perfect? No. Obviously not, because he needs certain things. But it goes back to what I said when you have that offensive line. Brother, you can have mediocre wide receivers. You can have mediocre running backs. They can all flirt with 1,000 if you have a good offensive line. And some of y'all just don't want to be wrong about Tua. And me and EM to be right. That's what it comes down to. I know. I'm not dumb. Smarter than a lot of you out there that claim to be content creators. That's on every platform. That's not pointing anyone out. That's generalizing. Anywho, my whole issue here right now is I want to read some things to you guys. Let's story time with reason, baby. Let's get into story time with reason right now. We got to add to this because all of you numbskulls, all of you inept football minds, all of you casuals masquerading as guys who know what they're talking about, trying to say Tua is the problem, you're telling on yourself. And we're going to go deep. Let's get into this right now. Because I'm sick and tired of this narrative. All right? And then we're going to top it off with a video that came out today from Emmanuel Acho. We're gonna go in. We're going to go in. All right? Let's go in right now. Enough of this. So, for all of you that's saying Tua's the problem right now, I want to give you a dose of reality because I know some of y'all supported Tannehill, etc., etc. Let's get a dose of reality here for a second. All right. So let's just stick him to Ryan Tannehill. Let's just keep it Ryan Tannehill. In Ryan Tannehill's first 10 games of his career, 4-6, 58% completion percentage, 6 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 1 rushing touchdown, 6.88 yards per attempt, 70.8 QBR. Tua, 7-3 record, 64% completion percentage, 12 touchdowns against 6 interceptions, 4 rushing touchdowns, 6.6 yards per attempt, 86.4 QBR. But he's the problem, right? He's the problem, right? I want you to think about this right now. Let's really start putting things in perspective, okay? Let's keep it going. Prior to Sunday, Tua Tagovailoa was 7-3 in 10 career starts. The Dolphins were 8-14 in the 22 games before he started. The team had 2 winning seasons in the 12 years before he went 6-3 last year, and the team finished 10-6. Put that into perspective. 2 winning seasons in the 12 years last year before he went 6-3. Want me to keep going better? Of all the quarterbacks drafted in 2019 or after that have more than 3 starts, Tua is the only one with a winning record. Joe Burrow, 3-8-1. Justin Herbert, 7-10. Jalen Hurts, 2-4. Kyler Murray, 15-18-1. Daniel Jones, 8-21. Haskins, 3-10. Drew Lock, 8-10. Gardner Minshew, 7-13. Tua was again 7-3 prior to Sunday for the Dolphins, a team that only had 2 winning seasons in 12 years. He did not take over a winner. He did this with the basis and the foundation of the core that's struggling right now. Look at you want the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, the year before we drafted Tua, when we went 5-11, they were better than us. Kyler won Rookie of the Year. And then we went to Arizona, and Tua beat them. And Tua beat the reigning Rookie of the Year. Zach Wilson, the number 2 overall pick, just played the Patriots at home. Didn't have to go to Foxborough. Played them at home. What happened? 4 interceptions. Do you know right now, Zach Wilson and 2 games in, Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson have as many interceptions in 2 games as Tua has in his whole career. His whole career already. They took them 2 games. Tua played through 10 games, started 11. And they already have as many interceptions as he does. But no one wants to talk about that. Guys, he is the youngest quarterback in the Bill Belichick era to go to Foxborough and win. He's beat the Patriots twice in his first 10 starts, and he got better the second game compared to what he was the first game, and he was pushing the ball more. Only the 6th rookie quarterback to beat Bill Belichick. The first and youngest quarterback to beat him in consecutive times in his first 10 starts. The youngest quarterback to beat Bill Belichick in consecutive games. Like, dude, Zach Wilson was taking 3 spots in front of him. How did he look last weekend against that? And guess what? That was Zach Wilson's second start. Tua, last week, not the Bills game, but the Patriots game, was only his 10th start, so he only had 8 more starts than Zach Wilson. Not like he had some huge, massive leap over the guy. Give me a break. And on top of it, Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence, add them to the list of losing quarterbacks. They're both 0-2. But no one wants to talk about that stuff because it don't fit your narratives. Like, it's unreal. And now all of y'all wanting to all of a sudden jump on the Jacoby Brissett train like we don't know what your intentions really are. You're going to have faith. You must not know football if you're about to put faith in Jacoby Brissett over Tua Tagovailoa. You certainly don't know how to evaluate talent if that's where you're at. Why, you say, Reason? Well, let's go into why Reason says. I got it. I got all of it for your asses today. Jacoby Brissett is 11-19 in 30 starts over the last 5 seasons. He's amongst the worst in QBR and yards per attempt in that time, and is the only QB with at least 25 starts completing under 60% of his passes. Brissett's average time to throw the last 5 seasons is 2.9 seconds, the 5th longest in the NFL. It's led to him being pressured on 34% of his dropbacks. the 6th highest rate in the NFL since 2017. And that's with the Colts offensive line and when he started in New England, when they know how to put together and coach offensive lines out there and had one of the best offensive line coaches in the NFL. And now you're expecting him, when he produced all of that, with better overall talent around him offensively, you're expecting him to lead us to wins? Jacoby Brissett is going to be what turns this around? Have you guys become so blinded by your hate that you've borderlined on hitting an IQ below 10? It's ridiculous. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, guys, I don't think you understand right now. We could, if we lose the next 2 games, why the hell would you start Tua 1-3 against Tampa Bay coming off that injury? I'd wait till the freaking London game. And I want even further. Las Vegas right now is the best in the NFL at generating pressure. They're generating pressure at like a ridiculous clip, like 87% of their defensive snaps. Something stupid like that right now. And on top of that, our offensive line is shit. Let's start putting things into perspective here. This is a Jacoby. Look at this. The Dolphins have allowed QB pressure on 55% of their dropbacks through week 2. You know how bad that is? Like, but it's the quarterback's fault right now, right? You guys are out here acting like this kid's been in the league for 7 years. 7 years. How do you expect young rookie quarterbacks to navigate through this? Like, it's just I can tell some of y'all do not know what you're talking about. And you're masquerading around here like you do. And it's pathetic to watch, really. It's a joke. Not everything falls on the quarterback. Y'all were the same ones saying Josh Rosen didn't get a fair shake, and y'all were the same ones wanting to give Tannehill an 8th year after 7. It's unreal. Like, and I don't think you understand right now what's about to come down. Like, you realize Lamar Jackson in week 1, he was pressured on 54.5% of his dropbacks. 18 pressures on 33 dropbacks. Kind of lines up with where we're sitting around right now, don't we? Ben Roethlisberger got pressured on 31% of his dropbacks. Yannick Ngakoue, Max Crosby were out there just generating pressure at a ridiculous rate. And all of you that want to say the offensive line is an excuse, if it's such an excuse, why is the coaching staff right now shuffling and shifting guys around and fiddling with their 5 starters? If it wasn't an issue and it was strictly a quarterback problem, why is the coaching staff putting it on the offensive line. Barry Jackson reported yesterday, internally, so this is the Dolphins' own grading system. Internally, Austin Jackson was the second worst graded offensive player for the Miami Dolphins. Not PFF, their own internal grades. I'm guessing number one was probably Solomon Kinley. Like, this is what's baffling about these people is they can't. I'm surprised some of you can tie your own shoelaces and put your pants on in the morning. Because the way you comes off like you should be drooling and someone should be feeding you your dinner either through a straw or with a spoon. Because some of you will come off like you don't even have the mental capacity to feed yourselves. If the offensive line wasn't an issue, why is the coaching staff trying to fix it? The coaching staff is killing your narrative that it's the quarterback. Give me a break. Now, let's keep it rolling. I wanted to show a few things regarding to his injury here, because now it's come out that it's a fractured rib when we were told earlier this week that they found no structural damage and there's no cartilage, anything like that. Now, I guess through further testing, they found fractures. We don't know if they're hairline. We don't know if they're legit. And here's even better. Guess what? It was reported, Tua Flores said Tua tried to come back in on Sunday, right? Well, guess what Flores said today? That Tua wants to go on Sunday. They had to shut him down. Tua didn't shut himself down. Flores said they had to shut him down because he's ready to go this Sunday. Because he wants to play. But, oh yeah, he's injury prone, right? This guy plays 2 weeks recovered from tightrope surgery on his ankle twice. Comes back from a catastrophic hip injury that probably would have ended a lot of people's careers. Now with fractured ribs, he wanted to go back in Sunday. Now he's telling the coach and the staff, I want to play this Sunday. But it's his problem, right? He's the issue. And if he was such a problem and he was so soft, he wouldn't even be going. And I told y'all before, I'll tell y'all again. This is where this is going. Listen, my evaluation continues on Tua, whether he's a Dolphin or not. Realize that. Realize my evaluation for these players are beyond the Dolphins. So if he goes off to another team and he balls out, my evaluation continues to be correct. I want people to realize that. And then it makes all of y'all look even more foolish if he goes somewhere else and balls out. I told y'all. What did I say in the offseason? All of you fickle fans, you wouldn't have given Josh Allen last year. After 2 years, you would have told him to hit the road. You wouldn't have seen Josh Allen's development. Goes back to my rant. When all of a sudden did Miami Dolphin fans, especially the casuals out there, become the authority on good quarterback play? Last I checked, 95% of us have been begging for good quarterback play for 20 years. But now all of a sudden, you got 20 years to wait around for them to make a pick. But 11 games and you know what the issue is, right? You know the deal, right? Absolutely ridiculous, man. Absolutely asinine thinking. And all of you that buy into that nonsense, you're what's wrong with this too. Because I know 90% of you guys that are out there saying this, 95% of you couldn't even write a scouting report, let alone properly evaluate a player off film. Give me a break, okay? Jeez, y'all just trying to catch up to Reason because Reason was the first one doing in the community. Give me a break. So this is where I'm at right now. I don't want to hear any of this it's Tua's fault nonsense because right now the coaching staff is telling you it's the offensive line. The problem is we have an inept coaching staff. Right now, take it how you want to take it. Brian Flores, Chris Greer, and the Miami Dolphins, they've had the resources, but they haven't used the resources properly to put Tua in a position to be successful. Fact. That's just where it is right now. Like, Ball Game posed the question last week. What did they really upgrade this offseason? And what did I say? They added some depth to the secondary. And they upgraded the secondary with Holland. They added depth to the defensive front, the front four. And they added talent and depth to the wide receiving core. They didn't upgrade the running back room. They didn't upgrade the offensive line. They didn't upgrade the linebacking core. That's why I've been saying, not just the offensive line, we don't have the linebacking core and we don't have the offensive line to make a deep run in the playoffs. Fact of the matter is that. That's why I said we were one and done if we make the playoffs. Why do you think I said that? Why do you think our quarterback's out and 2 games in a row we've allowed massive chunk yard runs against us because we don't have the linebackers, we don't have the offensive line. So, I don't even know what to say right here, right now. All of your guys, listen, all of you that gave us flack, me and EM, for asking if they utilize the resources the best way in June, now you're seeing what we warned you about. We were out ahead of everything. All of this we were ahead of. And we'd already been talking about that for a couple months before we even did the show. We've been out ahead of this shit. And this is, I will tell you right now, I've been warning you guys about this offensive line since last season. I've been consistent. All right? I've been consistent about this offensive line. Been warning y'all since last season. All right? Just because I see things early and just because I see things before other people, don't shoot the messenger. But that shows you, if I'm seeing that stuff last year, that's not an excuse. That's a reality. That's why I said, even if we got Watson, what did I say? When Watson was winning the division early on, if Watson was so good and could win in the playoffs without the offensive line, why did they trade they traded to us for Laremy Tunsil? If Watson was this big magician, I think he's a top 5 quarterback, hands down. But if he was this world beater and this game changer, why did they trade all of that capital for Laremy Tunsil? Because he wouldn't need it, right? Guess what? We don't even have a Laremy Tunsil. You can roll all our offensive linemen right now in a ball, and you don't even get one Laremy Tunsil when you put them all together. I hate to be the one to tell you that. I told y'all Austin Jackson was shit when we drafted him. Right? I told all of y'all my issue with Michael Dieter starting is he's never had to call out protections. He's never had to ID players, mics and such, and call out disguises and shift protections. What's happening right now? Flores and Lemuel Jean-Pierre brought up Dieter's communication skills this weekend. I warned all of y'all, Jesse Davis was not it. When it came out during training camp that he had the leg injury, I said it's a matter of time before it bites us in the ass. It bit us in the ass. What else did I say? Here's the best one I said. I said everyone wants Tua to take this great second-year leap, but they're not realizing on the offensive line we need 3 players. Kinley, Hunt, and Jackson to take significant second-year leaps. And on top of that, what did I say? I said we need Eichenberg to limit his rookie mistakes. Have any of those things happened yet? Hunt looked bad on Sunday. He looked good week 1 and he looked good all preseason. But Sunday he looked bad, but I just chalk it up to, hell, everyone else is a shit show around me. It's obviously going to rub off on me. I've been out in front of this for time. Matthew Rankin, shout out from coming you. The thing is, these people are just catching up, so they're labeling it an excuse when I've been talking about this for over a year. They're just catching up. They're just realizing what's going on. I'm sitting here seeing, I told y'all so. How can it be an excuse if I've been talking about it for over a fucking year right now? Give me a break. Just because you can't evaluate, just because you can't see things on the field, because you're so fixated on Tua, or you just don't know how to evaluate players, that ain't my problem, bro. That's on you and your eyes. And if they weren't a problem, again, why is this coaching staff trying to find answers, benching Solomon Kinley, and trying to shift around these players? The coaching staff doesn't even agree with you guys. Yet, y'all take whatever the coaching staff says at face value when it's anything negative against Tua Tagovailoa, right? Or anything that can be perceived as negative towards Tua Tagovailoa. Oh, y'all are right out on top of that. Give me a break. So, I mean, that's where I'm at with this, man. Y'all don't think I don't see all y'all Swiss cheese hole narratives over here, man. And I'm poking holes through them right now. All the way to Watson. If Watson could win with no O-line, why'd they give us all that they gave us for Laramie Tunsil? Tell me. Unreal. So I got a couple things I want to show all y'all. Let's get into it right now. In regards to Tua, I want to show you what David Chow said, former, I believe 12 or 13 years. He was the head doctor for, at the time, the San Diego Chargers. Now, obviously, they're in Los Angeles. So let's take a look at what he says in regards to his injury. Let me know in the comments. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear it when it starts playing, all right?
Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa will be out week 3 this week at least, and maybe longer. This is Dr. David Chow, ProFootballDoc.com. We already said it was unlikely that Tua would play against the Raiders this week. Meanwhile, Derek Carr, his ankle would be fine. Because when you're talking about multiple areas, whether ribs, fractures, or cartilage injury, and the young quarterback would unlikely be able to practice, difficult to start and play the guy with a game day injection. With multiple rib fractures now confirmed by head coach Brian Flores based on additional testing, makes it even harder to do rib blocks because you'd have to do multiple rib blocks, increasing the risk. But also, it increases the chance of a punctured lung with a second hit, and a flak jacket cannot protect completely against that. With this news, it's not only that he won't play week 3, I think it's unlikely he plays week 4. It's even possible that he goes on a short 3-week IR stint. Rib fractures start to heal in 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And if he can't play now, 1 week out from the fractures, plural, it makes it unlikely he'll be able to play the following week either. Let's continue to watch the news on Tua and the Dolphins. For now, it's Jacoby Brissett going forward.
So there you go. So Dr. Chow doesn't even expect him to be back for week 4. And Justo says there ain't a quick fix with this O-line, but what's the 5 you would start? I would sign Mitchell Schwartz. I would start Mitchell Schwartz at right tackle. Even at 80% health, he's giving us better than what Jesse Davis is. I'd start him at right tackle. I would start Hunt at right guard. You don't have any other option than Dieter at center. They've pigeonholed themselves there. And guys, it's funny. You go look at Jermaine Illuminor. Jermaine Illuminor is one of the highest graded interior players over 2 weeks because he's been the starting right guard for the Las Vegas Raiders. And this coaching staff is so inept with the offensive line that they don't know how to judge and evaluate properly that they let him walk. And Jermaine Illuminor's balling. Anyways, at left guard, I would try Robert Jones, see what he have over him. And then at left tackle, I would have Eichenberg. If Mitchell Schwartz is not an option, I'll start Eichenberg at right tackle. Show me what you got, Greg Little at left tackle. Austin Jackson does not deserve to see a football field right now. And I know I missed a couple of your donations, Marino's GOAT, and one other person. I'm sorry I did, but I was just in a rant. And now they're actually gone, so I can't even pull them up for all of y'all. But I appreciate your donations. I know there's 2 of you. It was Marino's GOAT and someone right after. Man, I appreciate you guys. Sorry, I was just in a zone there. Now, I want to show you now a former football player. Okay, I know y'all have seen him. Emmanuel Acho, former linebacker, right? I want y'all to hear what he said today about all of this. Okay? Let's hear what Emmanuel has to say. Yeah, let's start. Alfredo, give me Greg Manx at center. Let's go right now. Let's go right now. I totally forgot. He slipped my mind. Show me what you got. Let me bring that back up because it's not actually working right here. Give me a sec, guys. Alfredo nailed it right on the head. And go check out 3 Yards Per Carry. It's one of the better podcasts out there. One of the few that I actually listen to and actually hold their opinion in high regard. So shout out to Alf. Alf is one of the few out here that actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. So shout out to Alf. All right, let's just show this video because I want you guys to see what Emmanuel said.
Don't set Tua up for failure, then complain when he fails. I'm not concerned about Tua at all. I'm concerned about the Miami Dolphins. I'm concerned about the ignorance of the Miami Dolphins, but I'm not actually concerned.
I mean, it's the same message I've been saying all off season. This is why I wanted Penei Sewell. Speaking of 3 yards per carry, that's why when I heard on their episode, when I heard Simon Clancy say that from what he's heard, people in the room were banging the table for Penei Sewell to be the pick, and I played that clip for you all up here, I was excited because I'm like, oh my God, they might be fixing this stuff. They might be getting it right, but I don't know what's going on right now. I know people are going to point at Chris Grier because this is not just a regime thing with the offensive line not getting corrected, other than the unicorn year. This is an ongoing theme right now, and it's lasted over multiple regimes, and people are going to point to Chris Grier and say, you're the one who's been here the longest. You must have been keeping up with the philosophies that aren't working. But my whole thing is here, Barry Jackson already told all of y'all what I've been telling you guys too. Flores has a ton of say when it comes to personnel. Now, I didn't tell you that Chris Grier defers to Brian Flores, but Barry Jackson did, and I'll be the first one to tell you, take Barry Jackson's word over mine. He's been in the game a whole hell of a lot longer than mine, And I'm sure he got, I only got a couple people close to the organization that I talked to. I'm sure he got dozens. So, I mean, all of these people trying to pin this narrative on Tua Tagovailoa, he's the problem. This is why I said Watson is not the issue. Instead of spending 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks on a quarterback, go spend that and get an elite tackle and get an elite mic. If you can't draft them, go trade for proven commodities. I mean, I just don't comprehend it right now. I think the coaching staff and the offensive line, and by coaching staff, I mean the offensive line coach and the coordinators, I don't think Tua right now is in a position to be successful. I don't think any quarterback right now is in a position to be successful offensively with this team. All of you that want Watson are just hoping that he's going to be some magician behind this offensive line and create points out of thin air, and like he's just going to work some great magic that's going to take us on a deep playoff run. Hate to be the one to tell you it, but when the playoffs come, teams they take away your strengths, which is already happening to us. They take away your strengths and they say, beat me with your weaknesses. We can't commit to the run. We have the best complimentary back in the NFL as our alpha right now, and Myles Gaskin. He needs thunder to his lightning right now in this offense, for sure. You've added these receivers, but let's be real. Fuller, Parker, Albert Wilson, Preston Williams, they're all fragilia. Like, they all are glass cannons. They all get hurt. So even the weapons you've added, we got questions about them. Even the weapons in the room, I should say. Sorry. You're like, I don't question Jalen Waddle as much as I do like Will Fuller, right? Jalen's got to show me he's injured multiple years at the professional level. But look at you know what we said when the season. Remember what we were saying during the preseason on this channel. Look at how bad this offensive line is. Imagine if people get hurt or things go awry. And you got to look to the depth on this team. Because we had no depth on this team whatsoever. And now they're looking like they can't even move to their depth. They just have to shuffle guys around. I'm telling you right now, Eichenberg is not a left guard. He does not have the base, and he does not have the anchor to play left guard. Okay? I'm sorry. He just doesn't. The guy's 302 pounds, and he's like 6'5", 6'6". Does not have the anchor in the base for that position. Not going to happen. Austin Jackson, why is he even on the field? And this is what I don't get. All of y'all don't want to give Tua a pass, but you want to give Austin Jackson a pass when Austin Jackson has showed you he's regressed massively since he came back from that injury last year. And I told all y'all, it goes back to the preview show of the Broncos game. Someone asked me in the comments, what's your biggest concern? I said Bradley Chubb on Austin Jackson. Bradley Chubb clearly watched the USC tape, said, all I got to do is go across this guy's face and I beat him. And that's what he did. And now AJ Epinesa, who him along with Bradley Anae and Julian Okwara, they made Austin Jackson's weaknesses glaring on his USC tape. AJ Epinesa just destroyed him this past weekend on a professional level now. And Flores wants to say, I got to put the best 5 guys out there. Then why is Austin Jackson on the field? Austin Jackson is playing like a 6th, 7th round UDFA quality player right now. He should not be on the field. He might get Jacoby hurt this weekend because now he's the blindside protector. I just, all of you propping up, trying to tear down Tua, but propping up Jacoby Brissett for this weekend, your agenda is showing. Stephen Lamb, who's your starting 5 offensive lineman? If I can sign Mitchell Schwartz is in there. If I can't, Eichenberg starts at right tackle, Hunt at right guard, good to Alf. I'm starting Greg Manx at center. I'll start Robert Jones at left guard, and I'm going Greg Little at left tackle. I'm sorry, man. This is just inexcusable. Now, I thought I was only going to talk about for a half hour and then I was going to drop the link, but I ended up talking for 55 minutes. I'm a man of my word. I'll drop the link for you guys to come up here. And, I'm going to, you know what? I'm actually going to hit up Alf, and I'm going to hit him up privately. And me and Alf I want to see if Alf wants to come on Inside the NFL. We'll have a talk. You guys can get to know Alf a little bit. He's a smart individual. He knows football really well. So I want to see what Alf has to say. Put him up here. Yeah, Tony Asawa, the links in the comments, bro. You come up. Anyone can come up. I don't give a shit. Knock yourself out. What's going on, guys?
What's up, guys? Hey, I just want to say something because I kind of got a lot to say too. First off, I just want to start out saying great show last night, and to thank you properly for doing it right, waiting for all that all 22 film. And Martin, Mr. Ball Game, you did such an amazing job with Reason breaking down last Sunday's game against the Bills, showing us the problems with their team right now. And this is why I donate to your channel. I'm not a Reason groupie, which I've been called on a morning show. Like, it's crazy. I donate to your channel. I donate to your channel because you take the money, and I know you put a lot of time and effort in your own channel, and that goes into buying the all 22 film, the paywall behind the online news subscriptions, and your work ethic and care that goes in this channel. Now, there's certain YouTubers out there who want to title their videos like Tua's fault on his 2 sacks, and they base that conclusion off of broadcast footage. And I don't know why anybody would do that, but you have to be either a clown or just plain lazy. And actually, I think they're probably both. It's disgusting and downright ignorant. And these are the ones making the content that push a narrative that Tua sucks because they didn't like him. And they want to be so right about their narrative that they put that before actually making an objective evaluation on this team.
Darth Logan,
and YouTubers calling Tua a bust because Tua got hurt because Jesse Davis got off the O-line like an 85-year-old man getting out of bed, then you're a straight fool. And here's what I go a little bit more Darth Logan on this particular YouTuber. A specific certain YouTuber honestly doesn't know how to evaluate football. And I got some advice for that certain YouTuber. He should either A, stick to having fangirl reactions for entertainment, or B, and this is what I personally think he should do, is instead of tuning in on Sundays, he should tune in on Saturdays and evaluate the halftime band shows, letting us know if they're making the shapes correctly and if the flute player on the left is in step with the flute player on the right. Because honestly, sorry, not sorry, you're a clown. Your video evaluations on this team are a joke, and you're a fraud. And it's such a joke. And if you're going to make bad takes and the lazy evaluations push your narrative, then I will hunt you down. I will find you, and I will call you out on your clown ass. So say hello to the dark side, guys. Fins up.
Logan came for...
Checkmate, Logan. Checkmate. That was a checkmate on that one.
I don't
You
want
slid the queen to the upper square and checkmated him.
I don't want to turn this into a bash fest of certain people.
No, I didn't call anybody out.
I know, but I'm not saying you did. You didn't say name, but I just want people to know I don't want this to turn into a bash fest of. No. Now, we can generalize it because they're on YouTube, they're on Twitter, they're on Facebook. They're on every platform right now. For me, who I was directing everything at, I was generalizing it towards everyone. It's not one specific person. It's all of you. It's the collective of you. And shout out to TR, donated $10 Australian. He said, your explanations and solutions are so simple but so effective. Get the basics done and do it well. Thanks, bro. All right, so I mean,
but yeah, I'm not either. I'm just I generalize.
Follow that up, someone.
Clearly, there were some other. Clearly, there's some other shots that were.
But I got called out all week. I got called out all week on another show. So I just have to say my piece. And that's sad, man.
You just say what you got to say. You're your own man, bro.
Yeah, he had to stand up for himself. So that's
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ennis. Go ahead, Ennis.
I don't be long like everybody.
Go ahead.
I'm backing Logan because I'm not jumping on, like you said, this is not that. But when you are a person that's putting our team as a focus out there, I'm not wording it right, but you giving false information, that's bad. Because some people are not intelligent enough to look past what a person is saying and saying, okay, let me just take this and see for myself. Some people are really going in with the knowledge that is being spread out instead of checking for themselves. Like Dylan does his research, Logan does his research. Even though we love reading research, we all do our own, and then we come together and talk about it. But when you only spitting bad vibes and you ain't doing it with the research and the knowledge that other people are doing it, that is bad. Because you leading false people in a false direction, and that's bad. To where you got people arguing with each other. This morning we argued on somebody else's channel because of you, what you doing. That's not right, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are struggling as a team, but we shouldn't be having to argue with each other because this person is spitting bad vibes. Period. That's any channel. That's on Larry. That goes for anybody.
Yeah.
That's doing
These YouTube streets is mean, bro.
Yeah, you spitting bad vibes and you using.
Well, you see it on Twitter too, right? You see people on Twitter that are bashing this kid, and you know they've never watched a lick of film in their whole life, and all they ever have done is watch the broadcast.
All right, let me say something real quick.
It's been set for failure.
The Twitter actually gets me. The Twitter gets me. The people on Twitter get me worked up just as much because you at least know they're just guys sitting in their basement tweeting from their couch and they're not watching anything.
That's why I don't even worry about them fools.
Reason, how can you beat your all 22 show? You got 2 quarterbacks and a coach breaking down film.
I mean, you can tell they know what they're talking about, though.
Man, that's why I brought Martin on, because I played up here 3-down football. I wasn't down there playing 4-down football. I played in a wishbone offense. We didn't have complicated disguises and stuff like that up here like what y'all have down there. And Martin, Martin's actually seen that. Like, people think I'm joking. When Martin was the starting quarterback at Florida A&M, he played the Hurricanes team led by Olivier Vernon and all those studs.
Yeah.
Like, and his protection was terrible against that team, and he was running for his life. He was making plays, but he's running for his life. So no one knows about protection better than Martin.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though, is you can tell that you guys know what's up. I do want to say a couple things. There's a couple things about Flores. So first of all, when it comes to Flores and his, connection to transactions, he told us back in 2019 himself in one of his pressers that he has a hand in every single one of them. Yeah. So you don't even need Barry Jackson's confirmation, because that's what that is, right? Secondly, when it comes to the offensive line coach, that was fired a couple weeks into training camp. You're right. It was a Dieter.
He was a veteran, and he was a veteran O-line coach, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and he didn't want it. It was it DeGuglielmo? Was it that guy? Or was
I saw the name literally today.
I can't remember, but he didn't want it.
Yeah, I think it was I can't even say his name.
DeGuglielmo, yeah. But yeah, because he said Dieter wasn't ready, right? But it was also, ironically enough, it was 2 rookies. There was him, and then there was Shaq Calhoun. We've talked about this. He didn't want to put either of them in there. And then what ended up happening in the season, they both ended up going in the game with the second offensive line coach, because he was then willing to start them. And Dieter never came out, but was pretty garbage the entire season. And then Shaq Calhoun kept getting put on the bench, inactive for just some strange reason, and look, I just
wanted to add to you, bro. DeGuglielmo was the guy that came in with Chad O'Shea. The one they fired, they fired him after 4 days of training camp with Patrick Flaherty. Yeah. Remember, he's the one who said, "Yo, Dieter's not ready," and they fired him.
And what happened Dieter's second year?
Anyways, I know. Continue on, but I wanted to straighten that out. Go ahead, Logan. Sorry. I mean, Logan. Yeah. Dylan, go ahead.
We keep getting mixed up. Yeah, hey, man, it's cool.
No, I'm not looking at the screen right now. That's why.
Yeah. But somebody called Logan Dylan one day. Anyway, but yeah, no, I just say that because the point is that in 2019 he didn't Brian Flores wanted those guys in there because that was our tank season, right? So like a lot of people say that Brian Flores didn't, and I get a lot of flack for this, but people say Brian Flores wasn't trying to tank on game day. I disagree with that. I disagree with that in large part because of personnel choices like that, and also because of situations like, you know, that defensive play that they called against, I think it was the Steelers, that led up that fucking touchdown or
Yes,
whatever.
exactly.
And he's supposed to be a defensive genius. Why are you calling something like that? I get you have a coordinator, but you're the head dude. You could veto that, right? And then there were other examples too, right? So like, that's all I got to say about that. And then one other thing is,
Hey, Dylan.
yo, what's up?
My bad for cutting you off. I just have to say
go for it.
that's how I really knew they were taking that time. They couldn't fool me no more. What was it, like third?
What, the Steelers game? Are you talking about the Steelers game?
Yeah, the
Steelers game going into halftime.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a number of examples. There was that one offensive play that was like on the goal line, right? And the running back I mean, everything was wrong about that play. They didn't have enough blockers. First and foremost, they had like 2 blockers with like 3 or 4 guys come in. The running back that ended up executing the play didn't practice it at all that week, right? So it was a number of things that went wrong with that, and it's like, why do you let that happen anyway?
They do a lot of stuff they shouldn't let happen. Like, why are you starting Jesse Davis and he got an injury?
But I
mean, you know what the problem is here? What we're running into too is this is what people aren't realizing too. Do you know? Shout out to Josh Williams for the donation. Do you realize how they're setting this up? They're not even going to be able to get a proper full evaluation on Tua by the end of this, and you know they're setting him up to scapegoat him.
Yeah, well, and that was going to be the final thing I was going to say is that it's been pretty obvious to me for a while that they haven't been setting him up for success. I mean, and then of course you throw in the stuff that we know behind the scenes, and it's glaring to me, right?
Oh, I'm telling you, if he leaves, if Tua moves, and Brian Flores stays, I'm dropping that bomb that I've been telling everyone I know for the past couple of months.
Yeah, and it's all this stuff as to why I've been saying for a while, like, I love Tua, I have faith in Tua, and I have faith that he's going to succeed. I just unfortunately don't feel like it's going to be with the Dolphins because, I mean, how could you figure?
It's going to be Alex Smith all over again.
Yeah, they're literally setting him up for failure at every point along the way, and it's miserable.
Sad. It's crazy, sabotage his career like that.
It's crazy.
Hey, and he barely got off to a start.
I know, Tony, you wanted to come up here in the chat, so go ahead.
A couple of things. One, is there any coach on the coaching staff that is more tenured than Flores, or more experienced and more knowledgeable?
Than who? Flores?
Yeah.
I guess Godsey.
Yeah,
what I'm getting at is, do you think he's like positioning everyone to be subordinate?
Yeah.
Like, why doesn't he go out and hire an experienced offensive line coach?
I've asked this.
And put
I've asked this. Remember, my whole theory is I don't know if he likes alphas. I don't know if he likes strong, experienced guys. Like, I always found it weird that, like, Jim Caldwell left because of health reasons. Then he was willing to come back to football, but they stuck with O'Shea instead of giving Caldwell his job back. When Caldwell is a guy who, as an offensive coordinator and as a head coach, 2 separate times has gone to the Super Bowl. So, like,
we wouldn't have an
that's
issue
the
right
most
now,
experience. You know, like, I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now what it is too. I'll tell you, because guess what? If they got into this situation right now, first of all, Caldwell wouldn't have let this offense get into the situation.
Facts.
But I truly believe he doesn't like alphas that might be threats.
Yeah, when he's not.
A quick fix to an intern coach.
Yeah.
They can get rid of him and have an intern coach right there on the staff.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm going with the whole thing of he doesn't like other alphas, guys who are experienced. Like, you know what really, and I said this before. I'll let you go again, Tony, because I know you got another question. What always sat weird with me too was during this offseason when we went when we went to replace Chan Gailey, all of these guys set to get promotions from either being a quarterback coach to an offensive coordinator, or going from being the pass play caller for Shanahan in San Francisco to get a promotion to be an offensive coordinator, as well as even the offensive coordinator in Clemson. No one wanted this job. No experienced person wanted this job.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, it ain't Tua, because I know right now there's coaches that will. It goes back to look at Darnold in Carolina.
Yeah.
Look at what Darnold's looking like in Carolina. Like, clearly it was situation and coaching. And I think right now it's, dude, I told you this. I think Brian Flores at this stage of his career is a glorified defensive coordinator. I don't think he has the grasp on the offensive side of the football down.
Especially not talent evaluation.
Anyways, Tony, I know you had another question. Go ahead.
Actually, I'm gonna say I was gonna make a statement, but it will change the subject, so I'm gonna save it. Just come back to me later.
Hey,
I was gonna get on these YouTubers. If you want me to go now, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
just go.
Real quick, the YouTube community. I've been watching them since draft day. I paid attention to one of them because they had a video about the reaction to the Pats game when we won on the last second. So that's how I got onto the YouTube community. And ever since draft night, I heard one dude talk about, let's go Team Rosen and draft somebody else. And then when we drafted Tua, I see people's faces changing. And then when you made it clear that you had evaluated Tua, and then we made the pick, they all went south. They hate that. They hate that. They resent the fact that you're winning. They resent the fact that you're right, bro. And that's what's fueling their narrative. So now they're putting themselves in their own takes ahead of the team. So they're evaluating from a standpoint of, I'm right, and here's why I'm right, instead of, well, let's look at what we see. Which is why I don't sub to nobody else. Just you and Dudley. Just you and Dudley, bro. I don't really need nothing else. Because they're not factual. Now, who's the guy you said he was at the game and he tweeted out that Tua
Trey in the trenches, Trey.
Damn.
And he ended up being right when we saw the film. There was Tua pointing out the blitzer and IDing the blitzer. He wasn't lying.
And the YouTuber is still out there saying that Tua didn't see this, and Tua couldn't see that. It's right in his face. He's still, to this morning, he's saying that.
That's because they're
like Martin's right. If he would have opened up, we talked about this when we went backstage. If he would have opened up to the right on that play, he would have seen Waddle and could have got the ball out. But this is what I told him backstage. We don't know how that play is designed. So if he's opening up with his hips and he's opening up looking to his left side, which is how that sack started, if that's a progression-based read, that could be 1, 2, 3. So if you look at it, once he sees the read's not open, he starts moving back towards the middle. He actually tries to move up, but when he gets hit on that second sack, the middle's compromised, so he can't even slide up in the pocket. He just has to take the hit. So, I mean, like, if you actually know what you're looking at and know how to break down film, you can see what's going on. Like, A, he ID'd the blitzer. No one picked it up. B, conceptually, that looks like where his progression started. And if it started on that side and that's taken away and you have a free blitzer, you're not going to have time to get to your second and third guy. You're going to be killed. And, but people aren't paying, I pointed out last year. Remember last year in the Patriots game? Perfect example. This is what I'm leading to something with this. Remember how he threw that pick early in the game to J.C. Jackson?
Uh-huh.
Remember later on in the second half of the game, the rush that gave us the lead, where J.C. Jackson filled the passing lane, but now he pump faked him, tucked it, and ran for the touchdown.
Yeah.
In-game mental adjustment, right? Seen it once, you're not fooling me again. If you actually look at the way of evaluating a prospect, and this is why I can know the coaching staff ain't giving Tua shit, is the way you evaluate the prospect is it's his 11th start, right? First play, they hit him with the corner blitz. No one picks it up. Second play, now they're bringing the safety blitz, but it's a similar look. He picked it up. He did what he's supposed to do. In-game adjustment. This is why I said, if Malcolm Brown does his job and picks that blocker up, guess what? he can turn his back to the blitzer and make the waddle read and make the throw. But because Malcolm didn't do his job, he couldn't get to those reads, right? But he did his job. You saw, what did he say? Fool me once, shame on me.
You.
Yeah, shame on you. Fool me once, twice, whatever.
Shame on me.
Yeah, and he wasn't letting that happen, bro.
Or you could be, you could be George Bush. Fool me once, shame on you.
You can't get fooled again.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That's a big thing for young quarterbacks. And his 11th start, he's showing you his aptitude in game. He's showing you, okay, I recognize it now. You got me good last time. Now I recognize it. You're not hitting me with that again. But no one did their job.
Yeah.
A reason. I know there's a guy you respect.
That's the shit you look at and say, I can build off this kid. Whereas if he's doing that in year 2, 11 start, what's he going to be doing at start 25, start 30, bro?
That's why he was never my Muslim, man.
They need to bring up Jared Dope.
Hey, Reason. There's a clip that you need to look. I don't know if you've seen it, but with the Big O show with somebody I know you respect highly. He interviewed Keith Sims.
Okay.
Keith Sims said flat out, we had the youngest line his rookie season.
Yeah.
He goes, our guy with most experience on the line had 3 years. He goes, but we gave up the fewest sacks and the fewest pressures in the NFL. He goes, the reason we did that is you look at the sideline and all of us sat together with Sandusky in between every
This is what I told everyone.
Every drive. He also said that when you have a line, any offensive line coach, basically, he said, with experience, will start his 5 guys in the beginning of camp, and they will not leave the field for anything. He goes, we had 3 plays off the entire preseason to learn each other, to communicate, to get better. And we work all the way through. He goes, you don't start trying to cross-train young players at different positions. You give them one position on the line and you stick with it.
Give him a house.
Well, this is what okay, so I had a conversation before I went live on Monday with Richmond Webb, right? And I spoke to him while I was giving my kid a bath and stuff. And what he basically told me was the communication he had with Keith Sims and all those guys, he said it was ridiculous. We basically went into it saying, listen, if I got to go take the blame when we get to the sideline, that's fine. But we're all going to be in this together. Like, we'll mess up together, just like we'll succeed together. And here's the other thing that people are forgetting. Back then, they had fully padded practices throughout the season. Now, because everyone's a princess, you only have a handful of padded practices throughout the whole season now because of the CBA. So you can't even give guys live bullets to see if you get something better in practice. You're literally stuck with what you got. And this goes back to the arrogance. Remember, I've always talked about the arrogance of this front office and this staff when it comes to drafting. I went back with it, the arrogance of the running back. They thought running backs were just going to fall to them last year, like J.K. Dobbins and such. And it goes now with the arrogance they're seeing with Eichenberg. They think they have a good enough coaching staff where they can shift him to a position he's never played. Like, when I showed Penei Sewell, a guy who struggled in the offseason at right tackle, I was showing all y'all reps of him on the right side because they existed. They're out there. Eichenberg, other than in his freshman season battling for right tackle, which he lost, he's never played right tackle. He's never even seen live high school reps at right tackle, right? So, and shout out to Brandon for the $1.99. What do I have to do to hear that bomb? I'm not dropping the Flores bomb until him and Tua are basically not on the same team together.
Yeah.
But this is my whole point. Like, I talked to Richmond all about that. Richmond, he's like, we had the conversation. It looks like, I forgot to say this during the film. I said this to Martin. I said this at the ball game. Doesn't it look like they just go, even with Brissett, doesn't it look like they just go up there and say, okay, we know what we got to do. Let's run it. No talking, no communication, no adjustments. It's like, okay, the play's the play, run it. And let me ask you this. it looked like Tua. Okay, it looked like Brissett. Brissett wasn't checking out and audibling out when he was dead to rights. Has this coaching staff even given them? If Brissett don't have the option to audible, Tua ain't gonna have the option to audible.
Exactly. And actually, there was only one offensive.
We even showed you yesterday. The concepts are a problem at times.
Yep.
We showed you the play concepts and the designs were problems, not just the offensive line. We made it without a shadow of a doubt. Coaching is involved. That's why I said after that first drive where Tua got sacked twice, even if he made the adjustment on the second sack, no excuses. And this is what I talk with Richmond, because what happens? Quarterbacks sit here. Charlie Fry brings out his surface. They go over everything. If you see this, you do this. Offensive line, they're all supposed to be sitting together. Lemuel Jean-Pierre is supposed to go over with the surface. When you guys see this, this is what we do. This is what went wrong. Blah, 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 blah. Coaching is supposed to step in mid-game, and Brissett was still running for his life by the end of the game.
He never stopped.
Dude, don't you see how we ended the film session with those the one quarterback hit and the 2 sacks in a row? Those were the final drive, bro, of the game. Coaching needs to step in at some point here, and I'm telling you,
I mean,
the telling tale on this guy is what he said about Tristan Wirfs.
You
were gonna kick this guy in the fucking guard, bro. You don't know how to evaluate. You don't know how to evaluate linemen, bro. Bye.
He needs to be gone.
He was wow.
But then again, that falls on Flores because Flores is the one who hired the staff.
Yeah, and even worse, when Steve Marshall came in with Gailey last year, Flores brought Lemuel Jean-Pierre in as an assistant coach. That was his guy.
Wow.
It's a mess, bro. It's a mess.
If I'm a defensive, if that's my forte, and somebody's crazy enough to give me a head coaching job, I'm loading my staff with experienced offensive guys.
Yeah, but he thinks he can handle it.
On offense, I'm basically hiring whoever would have been the head coach if I didn't get the job.
Right.
I think I can honestly say I've watched probably more football than anybody up here. I'm the oldest.
No, you're not.
I've been watching football. I'm not? Good. Finally, I'm not. Okay, I'm right behind you. I'm 47. But here's the thing. I have never seen an NFL team start the game off with the same play on back-to-back weeks. Yeah, I've never seen it.
God, did you watch the All-22 show yesterday?
Yes, I did not miss a minute.
Even the bootleg, we saw that all the time during the Gailey era. And did you see? Look at they bracketed both guys and they washed Swaddle out right away. Dude, Milano didn't even engage. He literally just waited at the line of scrimmage, waited for Waddle to come across on his motion to release, jammed him right away. They bracketed the 2 guys on the side. They took away everything on that left side of the field. Why? Because they were prepared. Our offense was not. They literally, we were throwing things at them yesterday. They were prepared for last year when they faced us, and they knew the keys on, because it's all about keys and landmarks. They had seen all this shit last year, and they were already double prepared for it. You gotta look at it.
And to make it worse, Buffalo's paying attention to that game because it's 2 divisional opponents they're scouting at the same time.
No, what I'm saying is, Todd, a lot of the stuff we were throwing at them, they saw last year in week 17, so they had already prepared for it once. Then they came back and prepared for it a second time. It's over, bud.
Let me ask you something. Where in that game did you see anything we did in the preseason?
Nothing. Because in the preseason, we were sprinkling in the RPO. Now we're just fucking heavy RPO. Like even that Jacoby Brissett. Now, I know Jacoby got to hand the ball off. I know Jacoby got to hand the ball off. The one where he pump fake evaded the rusher and then he ended up getting sacked anyways. There's only one read on that play. It's literally Devontae. And as soon as he pump faked, Reed was gone. So now you evade the pressure. You're dead to right because Gesicki got his back to you because they're run blocking. Like, even the play designs, are shit. And that's why I said these people calling Tua a one-read quarterback. Well, guess what? When you were in RPO, what do I tell all you? Usually on RPOs, you only have 1 or 2 reads. That's how they work. That's how they're designed. So when you're going to go heavy RPO, what do you think is going to happen? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Again, those people don't know how to evaluate tape or watch tape. They're just saying, oh, he's making 1 read and throwing it. That's how the play is designed, bro.
They only started doing evaluations because of you. They wasn't on 22s before this.
I know, bro. No one was on all 22 in this community before me, bro.
Just a disaster.
You know what the thing was? Back in 2019 when I started on other channels, I told everyone I watched the film, I watched the tape. Then when I started this channel, people saw, oh shit, this kid actually does watch the film, does watch the tape, and has the access to it. And not just NFL, collegiate stuff. Some of these guys up here have seen my collegiate archives, and they would boggle your fucking mind.
Snowball finna turn into an avalanche, bro.
And you know what, man? Dude, listen. We lose the next 2 games because, I mean, I don't think people realize Derek Carr is playing MVP worthy football right now.
Is he playing though? He's hurt.
No, he's playing. He's playing. It's Josh Jacobs that's probably not going to play. Yeah. And so we got to deal with Kenyon Drake. And their defense is elite right now.
Yeah,
and our offensive line, we're in week 3, and our coaching staff is shuffling them around because they don't know where guys fit.
It's gonna be so bad.
And this is supposed to be a good situation for Jacoby Brissett.
Hey, Reason. Who's playing defensive end next to across from Jackson too this week?
Yeah, I mean, well, they got Max Crosby, they got Ngakoue and Nassib. Yeah, I mean,
they got 3 good guys, and Max Crosby and Ngakoue are creating crazy pressure right now. They each had 5 pressures last game.
These people.
I actually had us losing to the Raiders before all this went down. That was one of my losses.
That was.
And you know what? The other thing, the other reason we can't run the RPO is because we don't even have the competent offensive line to run the RPO. Yeah. These guys get downfield and we get penalized.
That play you showed yesterday with Jackson just running out to nothing on that play. What the hell? Going to the second level and
He's
letting
the only guy run blocking, bro.
This is gonna be real bad, man.
Tommy says, "I hope Flo gets fired this year so I can hear that bomb."
It's just
bring back I like that idea.
I like how he said he didn't want Tua off the team. He just wants Flo off the team.
Yeah.
No, you know, and it's not that I'm about. Okay, I'm going to support Tua, live or die.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whoever gets us wins, I'm going to support. And I think right now, easily, Tua is the best for the job.
Yeah.
You know,
but the thing is, though, is he's not the one that's creating the toxicity, right? There's another person that is creating the toxicity, and it happens to be the head coach.
Right. That's terrible.
And I'm telling you, if this is ego, I hope he never gets another job in the NFL.
I'm at the point where I don't really care who's back there. I just want it to be fair and all that stuff, but I just want to win, man. I'm tired of losing.
You know, but you know what? I am so glad Tua's not playing. After what I heard from Keith Sims about the injuries that they played with and how it cost them their career. Keith Sims played with a partially torn Achilles because the Redskins told him he needed to play it and it ended his career.
Yeah, that's.
And you look at, he brought up O.J. McDuffie with the turf toe. Something that can easily be rested and come back. They wanted him to play back then.
Yeah.
They did not care about you. And he said the players, that's how your careers get. Tua needs to rest these ribs and come back healthy so he can shut people up, and there's no excuses for everybody to.
I wouldn't bring him back to the London game.
I agree. Yeah. He would miss Tampa Bay for sure. Yeah. We need to get an O-line. I'll be honest with you.
You know what that defense is going to do to us? Do you realize
that? When he gets his lunch, bro.
This is an audition.
I don't care who the quarterback is. It could be Mahomes back there.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything until we get an O-line fix.
Devin White, Levante David, we're just going to get
that's
destroyed.
the thing. That's the thing, though. So, I totally agree with that. But do we think we're going to fix this offensive line this year?
No.
Nope. No.
So if that's the case, would you put Tua in at all this year?
They're going to because I
know they're gonna
because of the offseason.
I know they're gonna, But
Yeah, they have to
just
evaluate.
Well, I said
philosophically-
earlier, you're not even going to get a proper
philosophically
evaluation. You're not even going to get a proper evaluation of this kid.
And people say we give Tua excuses.
But then
They say we give
exactly.
Tua excuses.
The coaching staff and apparently the coaching staff and the offensive line are getting all the passes in the world, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh my god! When I heard
he's the youngest, it's a lot for them.
there's a narrative being drawn here, bro. You know, and it's gonna because at the end of the day, I mean, look, obviously this is projecting a little bit here and trying to read people's minds. But again, when you take some of the other context into consideration and the rumors we heard with like Watson and whatever, man, I don't know. A lot of people have been bringing it up lately. You know, is it really that far-fetched to think that, you know, this is a little bit more intentional than what we originally were led to believe or thought? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just saying. So
if it is,
I mean,
Yeah, because they
in
wasn't
we need our
looking to protect
we
the
need our
quarterback.
owner to grow a pair and come down and tell him that's what if he has to his back like he says he does, he needs to grow a pair and come down and get people straight.
in reality, this was the line that we're going to use for Watson anyway. So, what can we really say? It's not like they were going to protect Watson.
And you know what's messed up? You could tell it's coaching because it's every single position across the offensive line has gotten worse. How good was Kinley last year? And all of a sudden he's going to be getting benched because he's playing so lousy?
Yeah, at the beginning of the year he was real good.
Man,
This is the only situation
these
where
guys
I
are
see that
regressing.
they're trying to cross-train each position on that O-line before they become masters at one position.
Yeah.
They come into the league
Right.
being tested at every not every, but
Trying to make
at
everybody
multiple
Jesse Davis.
positions, and like they're not really rocking at one.
Yeah. And you know, and that's the thing, right? Like when you talk about the defense, you can get away with that a bit more and it makes a little bit more sense, right? Some of the versatility and stuff like that. But with the offensive line, bro, there's no position group that requires chemistry, communication, you know, and all of those sorts of things more than the offensive line. And that's why, like, yeah, and that's why for a long time, you know, a bunch of us up here have been saying, bro, like they need to, at some point, they need to find homes and you need to let them grow together. All of this mixing and matching, you're never gonna be able to find the right five because you're constantly moving them around. How could you even tell, right? Like, it's ridiculous.
But we're not going to find the right five if we keep them all in one position right now because we don't have the offensive line coach to teach them.
I mean, that's also fair. It's just a cyclical fucking shitstorm. So.
If you were to say who's the best offensive lineman we've had this year, Reason, who would it be?
Robert Hunt.
Overall, probably Hunt.
I guess Hunt. But even
He's calling out protections and stuff. He
Yeah,
look like
really.
he know what he's doing.
I guess Hunt.
They want every player to be, I guess, as smart as Hunt, but that's not how football works. I guess they don't want people to do their job or something. I don't really understand what they're doing.
Is Austin Jackson starting or is Liam?
Austin
Jackson starting. And Jesse Davis is gonna play guard, I think.
My God!
So is Liam playing right tackle or is Hunt playing right tackle?
Liam's going to left guard.
Left guard, yeah.
Oh, Liam
in place of Kinley.
So they're putting Hunt at right tackle. I'm guessing.
No, I guess they're keeping. I think they're keeping Davis over at right tackle.
Ronnie donates
$49.99.
$49.99. He says, "This is my
I
contribution."
haven't heard
that donation,
I don't think
Bob.
anybody's going to know until the game.
Everybody has a price. Ronnie, if you email me at Phinside@gmail.com.
Ouch.
I'll tell you privately what happened. If you email me, I'll tell you what happened.
Damn.
For $50, that will uncover. That will uncover.
50 plus, and you get the
$1 million man, baby. Everybody's got a price. All right.
Everybody got a price, bro.
Everybody's got a
Hey, you just can't say it. You just can't say it in open floor anywhere.
Yeah, you just can't say it open forum.
It comes with an NDA. You can't tell
And
anybody.
I hate to give them the warning. You're going to want to blast them in open floor, but you can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
I think
Brandon says you're gonna get an email from me too. Well, brother, you need $1.99, so you're about 48 off.
Hey, but remember that comment that you made earlier? Are we gonna fix the offensive line this year? I don't have confidence we'll fix it in the off season if we still have the same staff.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
That's why I told
Yeah.
hold on. People are saying Ronnie paid for the whole chat. Well, sorry. Then in that case, I can't. Because a couple up here actually know what it is because they've all kept quiet about it. So
yeah.
Hush, man. Yeah.
Hey, Reason. I do need to bring up something to you backstage when we get backstage.
Yeah. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna stop even alluding to it then though, because like I get how people wanna, but it's just like, man. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
Just
stop
all right.
alluding.
So I said I was only going to do like an hour or so, and here I'm at an hour and a half. And my wife's probably livid right now because she's taking care of the baby duties for my kid.
Final thoughts.
Take McBride. Who's the best offensive lineman? Evan Neal in next year's draft. And here's another reason why this team can't afford to lose. We don't even have our draft pick.
Nope. Sam Fran gets that.
Bro. I know.
Why not?
Dude. I was just thinking because we have
What happened to it?
the only first round pick we have.
Yeah, we have the 49ers draft.
We gave it to the 49ers.
And the 49ers are probably going to be solid this year at least.
Yeah,
right? So
it's going to be like in the 20s.
And the pick, look, man, with the way that the season's going, our pick actually could turn out to be relatively high. But
karma for all of us with the Texans stuff, bro.
The arrogance, man. The arrogance of this coaching staff.
We can finally say Greer has lost the trade.
Yeah, but listen, think about that, though. Think about that. So out of the 2 first-round picks that you had available to give the Eagles, why would you choose ours? Look, I get, homers want to be like, because we were going to the Super Bowl. But at the end of the day, if you're being realistic, which one of those 2 picks do you think has a higher probability of being higher?
They were betting on themselves. They were betting that they got a certain player.
I hate when Dylan's looking right. And here
just saying, bro.
Logan, Logan.
I've been just like Reason. We've been trying to prevent people from the devastation, right? They just don't want to fucking listen. So.
Oh no, I listen.
No, not you. Some other people, out there, right?
So. All right. Let's go through some final thoughts. Let's start with you, Darth Logan.
What's up, man? Hey, man, I wasn't trying to start hopefully you don't get any flack. I didn't name drop or anything.
No.
So.
You didn't start it, bro.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of yours, Logan.
I had to get out my feelings.
That's all good, man.
I feel very strongly about this team, and I've been called a two-and-ear by someone too, and I ain't no two-and-ear, bro. I'm a Dolphinaire, man.
Shout out to Tommy for the $49.99 donation. I'm going to email you about the bomb. Oh, boy.
Oh, wow. See what happened was.
Craving
you
that
guys got to sign that non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah,
though,
NDA. Anyways, continue. Logan, go ahead.
But, man, it's sad. It's sad what just happened last Sunday with Tua, and hopefully it's not a rough game to watch this weekend, and I can pray that the coaching makes those adjustments. We'll see. So, anyways, guys, fins up, man.
Sorry, John. I didn't know I had a necklace sometimes. The show told you selling secrets.
That's funny.
Let's hey, I might be coming out there next month. I need that Dolphin spending money, baby. Just joking. No, I'm not joking. I actually probably am coming out there now, but I'm only gonna be out there looking like guys for the Atlanta game because we're flying out of Toronto now, and we have to buy a new set of new group of tickets because our group of tickets flying out of Buffalo are being like we can use them any other time, so we're just shifting that date. So I'll only be down for the Falcons game this year, it's looking like. Anyways, go ahead, Dylan.
Thanks for having me. Wish today's show was on better circumstances, but it is what it is. We got to brace, but we're going to brace together, man. We're going to weather the storm no matter what it is. Yeah, I guess that's really about it. fuck everybody else who wants to hate on us for having the foresight, bro. That's all I gotta say. Like, fins up.
You know what's crazy? When we drafted Tua, I thought it would end the divide in this fan base about the quarterback position, and two people have just spun these narratives, and the same people who said Rosen didn't get a fair shake aren't giving Tua a fair shake, and yet the people who wanted to give Tannehill an 8th year don't want to give this kid 11 games. The hypocrisy is off the charts. It's ridiculous.
It's okay, man. I'm the ones playing
yeah,
fan base.
they're the ones who still love on Tannehill while he's doing what he's doing in Tennessee, and they try to rub it in our faces.
And
Todd,
Todd,
your final thoughts.
Hey, I just want to thank you for putting out the All 22 show, man. That is just a great show that you put out and give us.
Yeah.
And it is a great teaching tool to fans who want to learn. So I just want to thank you for that show last night. It was awesome. Fins up, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in, bro. Crypto, your final thoughts.
Yeah. The analogy of my long-tailed cat on a porter-foot rocking chairs are really coming to pass now. Our tails just got even longer, and the rocking chairs just got even greater. So I'm nervous as hell. So I hope we can do something about that. Hopefully this coaching staff can make something happen, because it's going to be all up to them since it's their fault to begin with. Now it's up to them to fix it.
Yeah.
Stop the flooding.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Z-Man.
Well, I don't really know if they're actually this low line. They're probably just gonna rock out with the same people. Austin Jackson's gonna play all the games. He might have 28 sacks by the end of it.
And Albert Wilson will be playing quarterback in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Bro, you know what? I'm actually. Show me what Sinnett has. We know where we're about to go with this set. A bunch of L's, man.
Win it. Sinnett to win it,
right, Reason?
Sinnett to win it.
Anyway, sorry, Z-Man. I cut you off. Go ahead, buddy.
It's all good. I don't really know if we're gonna win the Raiders game. It's too many revenge games. It's already the Raiders game because they felt like they got butt last year with the Fitz thing, and now it's Kenyon Drake. Kenyon Drake gonna, what he does to us. So
yeah, every ex-Dolphin has their career game against us. It's just the life of a Dolphin.
We might be looking at 204.
Yeah, Tony, your final thoughts?
Real quick, thanks for the platform to speak or whatever.
Come up anytime you want, bro. I always see you in the chat.
Yeah, appreciate that. When I was coming up, like my only source of information was the Daily News, like the scoreboard readout, and then I had to talk to Jets fans the next day. I'm in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I had to. That's how it feels on other channels. Like I'm talking to Jets fans, like back in the day, how I used to. And I used to have to. No, we're really good here. We just need to do this. They would say, "Nah, you guys ain't shit." I shouldn't have to do that in the Dolphins community, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my way of saying thank you for this channel, bro. Dolphins up, man. Right.
Appreciate you, Tony. Thanks for always supporting. Wayne, buddy, what's up, buddy? Your final thoughts?
What's up, fam? Reason's great show last night, ball game, and Martin as always. It's just bullshitty, man. Just trash. The line is Basuda. Everything just needs to get on one accord. And as fans, we're on the outside looking in, and we're just like I said the other night, how do you guys not see what we see as fans? And that's the most boggling thing that, a lot of fans can't grip with. Most of them are just blind to the fact that we clearly see the O-line is bad and the coaching needs to step up. But then when you got certain channels that just want to look at the bad narrative of everything, that's why fans are so, what's the proper word, just cut off from each other. We're not divided. We should be arguing. Yeah, we're divided. We should be fighting with other teams like, yo, man, we know our team is this and that, but we still got it. Instead, they're fighting with each other saying, yo, we ain't going to beat this team because Tua's trash. Or we're not going to beat this team because Tua can't do this. And it's all just a void around Tua. And it's sad, man. And eventually you would think it'll get better. And that's the only hope that fans do have as football fans, as any sport fan, is we just have hope that it'll get better. And that's all we can look forward to. We'll see what happens, man. It's a sad case, but Fins up anyway, man.
I don't know whether it's stop sell D or stop sell DY.
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
I guess it's both.
Okay, there you go.
Whatever you
Yeah,
want, bro.
team's
Call me
in
what you want.
shambles, looks like. The offensive line has a step up. It's ridiculous to me that people are blaming Tua for this loss and whatnot. Thanks for bringing me up here, though, Reason.
No problem, man. Anytime you can, it's open up. Just come up, bro. All right, guys. So I was expecting to do this, but I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to take a look at some of the linebackers, and we're going to break that down.
Oh God!
And we'll look at the we'll look at the linebackers specifically. We'll be looking at run defense.
I love your shows, but some of them
Jerome
are
is not in the
painful.
house.
But don't shoot the messenger, man.
Yeah, exactly. They're putting the product on the field. I'm just showing y'all what the product is.
But it's still painful, especially when you're reliving it a second time.
I'm just exposing them. Don't blame me.
Don't blame me.
At least you're doing it properly.
I'm just polishing the turd.
No. I feel for you more than me because you're doing it a third time when you're showing us.
I know.
Yeah.
Bro, you ask me right now if I'm excited to chop it up tonight. Go ahead, ask me.
You're excited to chop it up tonight.
No, bro, I'd rather put a gun in my mouth.
Oh,
all right,
no.
No, don't leave us with the other YouTubers out there.
Please don't do that.
The community can't handle that.
I'll be back tomorrow night. We'll take a look. We'll take a look at the linebackers and we'll go over it. And yeah, I don't know, guys. Instead of donating $49.99 to this channel, maybe try to pool the money together and see if you can go sign Mitchell Schwartz. That might be. I appreciate all the donations. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Stay happy, healthy, safe, and blessed. And fins up, even if we looks like we need Cialis right now.
Good God.